I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
And this is a song that we've been waiting on for quite some time.
Yes, and I have always been a fan of country, and so this is a cover of a country song.
So it's a crazy situation. This is a band, Fist of Five. They were great. They were going to be massively, hugely massive. And then, stuff happens in bands. I mean, we're in a band right now, and it's hard. It's sometimes it's extremely hard. So anyway, we reviewed one of their songs from way back in the day, and they got the itch again. And so now they're debuting their first video. The name of this song is The Dance by the big homie Garth Brooks. Now, what's really cool about this is the girl in the video, Take 19, the girl in the video is a TikToker, actually, by the name of Blue Eyed Darkness. And so basically they found each other. We're going to do an interview with them, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be crazy. But anyway, without further ado, this is one of the best bands on the freaking planet, Fist of Five. The Dance. Let's do it.
And there's a mirror that's around the dance floor. And they told me that I just kind of propped up, standing up next to it. And the next thing I know, I'm in a car, throwing up all over the place.
Oh, God. Nice. Some strange place.
That's sexy.
No. Hey, is that Sam over there? Hey, I'm gonna check it out. Catch up with you guys later, alright?
I can't do this. I can't.
Sam, you okay? Well, I'm a much better listener than that steering wheel right there. What's going on? You can talk to me.
Looking back on the memories of that dance we shared beneath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was right. How could I have known?
Yo, I usually don't stop videos, but nothing better happened to this girl, bro. Holy moly.
Hey, what's up, man? No. No, man, it's not true. No.
Like a master.
Wow. It's so crazy that they can sing the same song, same lyrics, but make it have a whole different feel to it. Like the Garth Brooks one, Garth Brooks one, you kind of forget that it's a sad song because it sounds so romantic, I think. This one, you just knew you were in a bad story the whole time. Like, this is not going to end well.
So I was talking to one of the folks in the band because wouldn't you know it, I'm a friend of the band. No, I really am. And when they go on tour, I'm gonna get passes, you dumb butts, and you're not. So I kind of knew. So I knew Blue Eyed Darkness. Shout out to Blue Eyed Darkness. You did such a good job, girl. Holy moly! Might have to rent you out for some of our videos. You big famous person, you. Blue Eyed Darkness, shout out to you. You did a great job. I'm assuming that homeboy was in the band. The guy, her boyfriend, husband, whatever he was.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he was in. That might have been the singer. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know.
DJ, you gotta let me know.
Fill us in.
I'm texting the homie right now. I'm like, bro. Holy shit! This was such a good song. The guitar work, I love the guitar work. That was one of the things that I said about the previous song. I'm like, damn, I love this song, but I really wish it was more guitar.
Yeah.
Because I love songs that are guitar driven. The challenge that they have as a band, though, is that singer's so good. Did you see his range?
I know he had a wide range, but I'll tell the way.
It was like
Iron
Maiden.
Heard the Garth Brooks one, so
no, I've never heard the original.
So you don't know the comparison.
I don't know the original.
What they did with it, like I literally.
But I know it's better than Garth Brooks. I'll tell you that.
It was just sad through the whole thing. It was very depressing sounding. You know what I mean? Like it really had a, like I said before, you just knew you were in the middle of a bad story as it was going.
But this song, to me, like they figured it out because they basically featured the vocalist's voice, like they centered it because he's got so much range. And then what they did was the guitar started really getting noticeable or standing out like toward the middle part of the song. So like, yeah, I don't know, man. That seems to be that sounds like a really good formula for them where you just pick spot. It's like this band is kind of like, you know, the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. So they got Durant, they got Kyrie, they got Harden. And these guys are like the top three, just in clearly the best offensive players we've seen in the NBA in quite some time. And a lot of figuring out how to be successful on those teams is knowing whose turn it is. Like, okay, this is Durant's time, blah, blah, blah. So it's like this band it's I don't know if they did it on purpose or whatever, but it's like they've got a really, really special vocalist, and it's like I think it's the same problem. I don't know. I mean, it's a good problem to have. That Nightwish has. Like, it's just so tempting where every song you just kind of mail it in. You could just mail it in because Floor is so good. This guy, that scream he did in the middle was like more like the metal that I came up with, you know, the Cookie Monster stuff, but it wasn't quite Cookie Monster death metal. But at the same time, like, there were moments where I was like, holy shit, this guy could be an Iron Maiden. I mean, vocally, the guy is just insane. The storyboard of the video was awesome. And this is one of those times, like, really it's not going to get blocked, inshallah, so that's good. DJ, make sure I'm whitelisted. Yeah, man, like, that video was crazy.
Of the video.
What do you mean?
Because I've heard this song for so many years that the way that the ending of the video went, I was just very surprised that she died.
Yeah, I
thought it was going to be they just went their separate ways. I didn't know that they were going to...
I think the singer, that was one of the themes. Like, the couple songs that we heard, they were like love songs, and they were, you know, I'm pretty sure the vocalist, I mean, I don't want to say too much because I don't, you know, I don't know how much of this is like for public knowledge because one of the guys in the band and I are friends. But I mean, he it seems as if he went through something like I mean, obviously not exactly, I'm not sure, I don't know, but inshallah, well, the only way to solve this problem
is to have an interview.
It's for us to have an interview. But they just did such a good job with it's crazy to me. These guys were in a band for like, stopped playing for 10 years, went their separate ways, and then came back and like...
I know. And they just jumped right back in. Yeah.
Professional video. Really decent sound. I mean, the guy that worked with Pantera is working with them, so obviously the sound is gonna be top notch. But I just really love the balance, man. I loved focusing on his vocal style while simultaneously the instruments came in.
The instruments suffered, though. It seems to me that they balanced everything pretty well.
Yeah, they did such a good job. Holy moly. So I mean, long story short, you know, he and the girl get in a fight and then she dies in a car accident. I mean, holy moly, man. It's like didn't you used to say that? Like you'd always say goodbye to your dad, or like you'd
yeah, I would tell
him to buckle his seatbelt or whatever.
I love you. Drive safely. Buckle your seatbelt. And I felt like if I didn't say that, somebody was gonna die. It was gonna be my fault.
Yeah. So like that was one of those situations where it's like, you know, you don't want that to be the last conversation, and you find out that the way that the guy did the phone call. So apparently, DJ just hit me up. So the guy who is the boyfriend in the video is not the singer in the band. So there you go, public service announcement. He's not the singer.
Okay.
But the way that they did it, where, you know, the disbelief, like, that's not true. Mm-hmm. That to me is like one of the most... You see it in movies all the time. Yeah. You know, where he's talking about that disbelief. And that's kind of... Although, I mean, there was one death where I got... And, you know, you always get the phone call, right? And there was one where... I was in complete disbelief. The other one, I was like, well, yeah. I mean, I knew it's because I knew it was going to happen. Like, I knew it more than, you know, whatever. I just knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I said it was going to happen before it happened. But the first one was, man, it's yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to get those phone calls.
Can't even imagine what that's like, because I've never in a situation where I got a phone call about anything tragic. Like they called me to tell me that Selah, when she was in my womb, wasn't compatible with life, but they were wrong. So I don't really know the feeling.
Yeah. Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above, for a moment all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd never say goodbye? Now I'm glad I didn't know. The way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. So that's kind of
It's
wrestling.
better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Right. And I mean, I think there's only one right answer to that, right? It's better to be able to have had the experience of love than never had the experience of love. Holy moly! But you have a different philosophy.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one because, yeah, I totally see what you're saying. Like, it's better to have experienced it, but then at the same time, losing it can be so painful that, boy. I don't know. Ugh, that's a tough one. So the girls are really into this song called License right now. And
What's the name of the song?
License.
Okay.
And the girl basically said, today I got my license. And more or less she figures out that the boy she was seeing before was a liar because he said that they were always going to be together or something like that. And that, so she's saying, here I am. I got my license just like we always talked about, but you're not with me because he left her for some blonde girl. And then this blonde girl writes a rebuttal song. And she's like, well, I'm going to tell my side of the story. But then she never does say her side of the story. It's just a very awkward, strange song. But like
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was actually really fun to like go through with the girls because it was very shocking. But anyway, it was, I don't know, just hearing that first girl singing because she had lost him. And then thinking, would it be better to just have never been in love with him ever? So then she could have just gone. But then never being in love is not a good feeling either. I really don't know. I don't know. I think that, yeah, you're right. Probably the right answer would be to love and lose.
Well, I think the right answer is loving and losing because that's what God does.
Yeah.
He loves and he loses people.
Yeah.
Loved and lost Cain. So I just think, I obviously don't come from the philosophy that we need to orient our life such that we can avoid the most possible pain. And I remember very distinctly coming to the, self-consciously coming to the conclusion that I was not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was after I read the book, The Giver. Because obviously The Giver, it's basically this sci-fi dystopia where all the negative things about life are gone, but so you don't feel pain, you don't feel sadness, blah, blah, blah. But all of the community's collective consciousness as regards to pain, negativity, whatever you want it, gets put onto this one person who's the giver.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to feel everybody's pain. But on top of that, he also sees the world in color. They were in black and white. He tastes flavor. They don't. And so again, it's this whole, and I remember after reading that book, I'm like, there was a discussion in the class. What was it better? Would it be better to be the giver or would it be better to be, the people? And, a lot of people were saying like, oh yeah, we need to be in the gray world, of course.
Oh, really?
And I was, yeah, people were like, and I remember saying like, well, no, I kind of like my colors and I like my sports and I like, I like how Pepsi tastes. So I'll take the pain along with it. People are like, yeah, you're so dumb though. Like, who cares? You'll get used to water. Of course, at the time of this discussion, I was in a homeless shelter at Christmas, and the other kids were just living their regular lives. So, from my vantage point, which of course is not, how could you possibly know something like that as a kid? But from my vantage point, I'm like, here are these people who live a cushy, nice suburban existence, have no sort of curiosity about how other people live. Like, especially that class, I had to leave 5 minutes early because the bus that would take us, came at that specific time to the shelter site so that we could go wherever. Never asked, never whatever, didn't notice, it was just like, but so I was looking at it like, you guys are just, you live in a little comfortable suburban wonderland. So of course you're going to select the world where there's no pain or whatever because you guys are whatever. But So that day I was like, no, like I'm always going to choose like reality and experience. I'm going to experience as much as I can. And pain avoidance is not going to be a priority in my decision making. So so obviously when you get into a relationship with somebody, I mean, good night. If you want to, here's some advice. Here's some unsolicited advice. If you're going into a relationship to avoid pain, or that person is going to assuage all the pain you've ever felt in your life, they're going to be the healing balm. You're going to be sorely disappointed. Right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not Jesus, you'll be sorely disappointed. So, but I think that's one of the things that kills, that it's one of the reasons why we're not able to sustain long-lasting relationships, is because the minute there's some pain involved, people are like, yo, I'm not so, people look at their relational partner almost as if like that they're a tool. Like they dehumanize them. Like, you're supposed to make me feel good, and the minute you stop making me feel good, now I don't really have much use for you. And obviously most of us would not phrase it that way. And there are some very real issues for why people's relationships end. Yeah. So I want to be very, very careful, because I don't know who's watching, but like a lot of it is just, we view the other person as, we're in trouble, we don't feel good about ourselves, or we don't like the situation we're in. This person's going to be the rescue to get us out of that horrible situation. And then when that person is not, giving you the
living up to that role,
right, now then they become dispensable. So it's a hard thing to deal with. But I love this song though, because it looks like, and again, Garth Brooks wrote it, or whoever wrote it for Garth Brooks when he sang it or whatever. But it looks like the general tenor of the song was that it was good while they had it, and now it's gone. So
yep.
I could have missed the pain.
But he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Because then that would have made it so he wouldn't.
And that phrase, "our lives are better left to chance," is a very, very interesting phrase, because that has a lot of implications, especially as that relates to relationships. Because you generally, in relationships, you'll have one person who's like the planner, that's you, and then the other person who's like, oh, it's just random, and that's me. And sometimes the planner's view is important, and you need to let that be dominate, and then vice versa. But this one is really interesting. Our lives are better left to chance. I think as a general principle, obviously I'm going to say that that's true, because that's my personality. Like, I would just, like, I am good with not knowing what's going to happen in 5 minutes. Like, I'm completely good with that. And so I'm more like, hey, something might happen in 5 minutes, but hey, we're going to experience it together in 5 minutes, whatever it is. But you're more like,
I used to be like that. And then I think, honestly, that because I had such massive changes back to back to back,
right,
that it changed that part of me. And now I'm like, well, I'd like to know what's not going to change. And
right.
And this family is very much like, obviously, you
Right.
had the majority, because I came into this family with just me and Selah. So you guys more than doubled us. So your family structure, or the way that you guys did things, trumped mine, because you guys had the numbers. So yeah, so I think
and part of that structure was having no structure,
right, which made it so there wasn't a structure. So
yeah.
It was all the changes that I was going through in my own life, and then becoming a part of a family that also was a bunch of changes. So I think it was just too much change in a short span of time, and I think that I was just reacting to it.
You I don't know, man. Like that time, like you didn't come over because somebody was sick. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like hey, let's just grab the world by the jump.
I was very much like, hey, let's just whatever, and I liked the excitement of not knowing better than knowing. But then once I got married in my first relationship, then I was like, I think that it was, I don't want to sound mean, but I think that the life was so boring that I had to set I think my goals were how rigid can I live, and if I could meet my goals. I've been thinking about it a lot, for a couple
So
weeks now.
your life was boring?
Yeah, I felt like I was thinking it was kind of boring, and so then, you know how you have like certain markers that give you certain endorphins or energy rushes or whatever? Like,
yeah.
If I can live out the rigid boringness of this excellently, then that would give me my
Right.
So then I got used to like the rigid and what could be expected, and how to nail each challenge that I was given. But then everything went to hell, and then everything flipped and changed so fast that I think that then I was like, okay, like now I just want to know what's not going to change, because like your mindsets are flipped from how mine are. It feels like a lot of times I feel like we're not on the same page. So I'm like looking at the situation of like, okay, like there's a lot of change. There's not like a lot that I can be like, okay, this is solid. So then I like to nail down something that feels solid to me.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And my whole life has been by the seat of my pants, so I'm completely comfortable. Actually, it's interesting. Like, we're talking about anxiety. It's interesting. The more and more and more the future gets planned out concretely, the more and more upset I get, because I know that it's not going to turn out that way. And that's not a pessimistic way of viewing the world. That's just, that's how you're trained, right? You're going to have a plan. You're going to go and execute the plan, but you're going to have to modify it at some point because something is going to change. Something is going to go haywire or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, I want a general goal about something we're going to do in the future. How we get there is completely open season. But what ends up happening is that obviously creates certain conflicts. So for me, I'm like, if we could adapt to some sort of middle way of doing that for the future, that would. I don't know if it's not a major theme in the song, but it was just something really fascinating to me. I was like, holy moly. Anyway, really, really good song. Love the guitar work. Holy moly, DJ, thank you for sending me that. They released this thing earlier today, Take 19, and they've got like 60,000 views on this shit.
Oh, nice.
They had this.
Congratulations,
They've
guys.
got like a total of like 20 million views or something on their YouTube, but they just started back up. But like that shows you like how big this band, and there's been a lot of things about their record and things like that DJ shared with me that I'll let them share when we do the interview. But man, I just. This was really, 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 really good from some really, really, really high talent people who, in some parallel universe are selling out arenas right now, I'm sure. And I believe that, but that's a completely separate discussion. What do you give the song?
9.2.
It's a 9.8 for me. Really, really good song. I can't give a country song a 10. I got too much gangster in me. I didn't know it was a country song. I think DJ did tell me that it was Garth Brooks. You know what's funny is like I know that Garth Brooks is a country guy, but I didn't think of it as a country song until you said it was a country song, and I was like,
Well, I don't know who. Maybe he wasn't even the original person.
I'm pretty sure he must.
It's written by
Tony something, Arata or something like that. I don't know. There you are, dear listener. So the moral of the story is love somebody, huh? There you are. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.